Welcome back. The beloved Boundary Waters, rich in beauty and in minerals, also steeped in controversy. As President Trump appears ready to reverse a Biden-era ban on mining near the BWCA, we're embarking on a series of stories to mine for the truth on how it could impact our state. So far, we've dug into the case for mining with Twin Metals. They argue the environmental threat is minimal and the benefits are exponential as they look to build the first underground mine in our state in 60 years. But it's time for part two in the case against mining.
Here in Ely, some people say most in town support the mine for its economic potential. Others will tell you that most in town are opposed to the mine for its potential damage to the Boundary Waters. Statewide, though, a recent Star Tribune poll found that 60% of registered voters in Minnesota are against the mine, with 22% for it.
In downtown Ely,
Hi, Becky.
Hi, Becky, Chris.
the Save the Boundary Waters campaign is ramping up for another round in this fight.
I think mining has a place, but the important thing, the important fact, is where you allow mining. And in this particular place, we should not allow mining, not in the headwaters of the Boundary Waters.
Becky Rahm, a third-generation Ely resident, is the national chair of that campaign. Despite Twin Metals' promises,
That's the path that pollution would flow.
Rahm and other environmentalists believe a sulfide mine at this site would irreparably harm the Boundary Waters.
Mines are approved based on predicted performance. Everything works perfectly. Our mitigation works perfectly, right? And then you see how it performs in actual mines. And studies show that if the mine is near water, they're wrong. Those modeling results are wrong 9 out of 10 times.
A new study from the parent organization of Save the Boundary Waters examined public pollution data from 8 modern mines in the U.S., 5 of which are underground. The data shows all 8 mines degraded surface water downstream. 7 exceeded their pollution permits for groundwater. For instance, at the Kensington mine in Alaska, sulfate levels increased 50-fold downstream of the mine. At Bear Track mine in Idaho, mercury levels found in brook trout tripled, making them unsafe to eat by EPA standards.
Right now we're on the South Coosaway River.
From the water, we get a different view, where the river meets Birch Lake. It's also home to 43 residences and 3 resorts.
Right there is where the tailings facility would be. Instead of looking at that beautiful cliff and the red and white pines on top of the cliff, you'd be looking at a 300-foot waste pile of crushed tailings that would be there forever.
What would you need to be convinced that they could do it without pollution?
They can't do it without destroying the landscape and impacting the ecosystem.
You think it's
Period.
impossible, period?
It's a mine. I mean, you have to be realistic. And I say that because I know that every single modern mine in the United States is currently degrading water quality. Technology just doesn't exist.
So yeah, this is our integrated sampler.
Save the Boundary Waters doesn't just talk water, they also test it. Their monitoring led to the EPA designating Birch Lake as impaired for sulfate. The higher levels can be measured 12 miles upstream. The pollution, they believe, came from 2 nearby iron mines.
We've sampled every tributary in this watershed, so we know for a fact that the sulfate is coming from the North Shore mine in the Dunca Pit.
As for the money and the jobs at stake, some argue this mine misses the mark.
Right now, it's just too big of a risk.
For years, Congresswoman Betty McCollum has tried to permanently ban copper sulfide mining near the headwaters of the Boundary Waters.
Just because economically right now we put a big price tag in this state and in this country on copper, wars will be fought over water.
In 2018, a Harvard economist independently conducted a study on the mining ban near the Boundary Waters. It concluded mining would offer a temporary boost to the regional economy, but over time would not be sustainable, becoming a net negative to the overall economy. The study said not mining in the region would result in up to 4,600 more jobs and $900 million more in personal income over 20 years.
Do you think mining will inevitably happen there?
It'll never happen. because the science is so strong on the damage that this would do to this great place. And I just don't think the American people will let that happen.
What happens next could be decided in court. But for now, one of America's most visited wilderness areas remains at the center of one of the state's fiercest debates. Chris Harapsky, KARE 11 News, Ely.
For this series of stories, we went to the only copper nickel mine in the U.S. It's in Michigan, and we went down to the mine to see exactly what it looks like deep underground. We also heard from the community about their mine being in their backyard, and you may be surprised by what we found. You can watch that streaming right now, right here on KARE 11+. Stick with us, more news and weather coming up after the break.